Hello and welcome to SuggestCast.
Hello.
The suggestion-based podcast.
I'm here with Matt Smith
Oh,
and Vincent Watkins.
I'm naked, but Ben assures me that he doesn't care.
And our viewers probably don't care either, since they won't be seeing me. Oh, just a moment, there's knocking on my door.
Oh,
You
man.
guys can carry on with the introduction while I get this.
all right. So
They
basically,
appear
the
to
premise
be
of the
curious.
show is that we tell each other media to consume or actions to perform, and then we review those the next week.
Succinct.
I know.
The original purpose of this was to suggest artistic works to each other mainly that would serve as cultural touchstones for future reference.
Yeah. Well,
But
guess
we
what?
got-
There's not actually very many of those.
There might be, but I think we just got bored and just started suggesting whatever we felt like, and I think the show is only improved for it.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think it's slowly turning into Darecast.
Would you say? Would you say that your podcast is a cultural touchstone?
No, I think that's an easy enough concept to explain that you wouldn't have to do it by reference to a particular podcast.
Hmm. If only the leader were still with us. He'd have a lot of suggestions. Boy, did he ever.
Yeah, well, we probably wouldn't be doing this, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think SuggestCast was born out of a willingness to surrender a lot of quality for, just for the purpose of immediate production.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just gotta get in the swing of things.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We just had to get rolling. We would never gotten rolling because if we were going to do this right, it wouldn't be a hangout on air. You know, we would be recording ourselves, and someone would be editing it together, and that would no one would want to do it. And after we had a few episodes that were terrible and boring, we would have said we're not going to do this anymore because it's too much work. Whereas now we can do all the terrible, boring episodes we want. And it's really no work at all. It's almost more work for the listeners than it is for us.
I know I feel like I'm...
Do you feel like you're what?
I just said I know I feel like when I watch our podcast.
Oh. Yeah, well, I can't remember the last time I watched one. It was probably back with number 1 or 2.
Yeah,
No,
I think
that's
I
not
let...
true. I'm just kidding about that. I
I don't
actually
know. Recently, like, that went pretty well, I guess. No need to look at it to figure it out.
Man, am I cutting in and out, or is my audio coming through clearly?
It's just me, I think.
Okay. Yeah, well, I never know. And my audio is bad half the time when I'm talking to you guys on my phone, even outside of a hangout on air, so I just had no clue whether this was working or not.
Yeah, I'm actually hearing you clear. I do
what Ben's up to.
your phone, though, which is, whatever. We're not trying to...
Let's figure out a prank to play on Ben when he gets back. Hopefully he's not listening to us talk right now.
Oh, man. Well, he does use headphones. What kind of prank would we do except for just complaining about how long he was gone, which isn't not a prank.
How about if we use a lot of racial slurs?
No,
That's a pretty good prank.
it's pretty risky.
Wait, I'm not sure I know what the word prank means.
Oh, that was the lame joke.
No, something like that, though.
Sorry about that, I'm back.
Yeah.
Ben, you didn't hear anything about racial slurs, did you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
really
And
playing.
let's keep it that way.
That's probably because we didn't say anything about them,
No,
man.
I wasn't going to speculate on that.
we would
Well,
do
good.
such a thing.
Alright, so where are we in the suggestions?
We were just explaining what SuggestCast is all about and
Alright.
recommending to our viewers that they catch up with some of the past episodes.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a fine idea.
Give us a
And
thumbs up.
after that, why don't we get on to the suggestions we have from last week?
All right. I guess we should do Nijigahara Holograph.
Right, which is a manga that Vincent recommended, and I forget
Did you guys,
why.
did you guys read
Boners?
it?
I only got through the first, 5 or 6 chapters of it.
Oh man, you missed some big boners in that.
Yeah, I've
And
only read
I have
5
to admit,
chapters.
I have to admit, from the part of it that I read, I'm still not quite sure what's going on with it.
Hmm.
And
I
I'm
thought-
finding it difficult to follow. I think that's partly because I don't read much manga.
I
That's
think
not the
it's,
problem.
yeah, I think it's by its nature kind of difficult to follow, and that's, I guess, what I was trying to get at without explaining it very well, is that I found it very difficult to articulate what was going on, and yet I still seemed to have an emotional connection and reaction to the events that I was watching.
Man, I could really get behind this sort of, non-linear storytelling if I could, for even 1 second, care about any of the characters or what they're doing. But
Yeah, I found hard to keep track of which character was which, and with the jumping around, that made it
yeah,
difficult.
well,
So this book really didn't work for you guys like it worked for me.
Yeah, well, I haven't finished it, and
Yeah, but if
also,
you're far enough to know whether you're enthralled or not.
right, I'm not enthralled.
At first, I
Yeah.
thought it would be like one of those things where it has a weird ending. It's hard to put together, but the whole thing is like that.
Yeah, it does have a pretty weird ending, though.
I mean, I've seen stuff with non-linear storytelling like this. Anime, I think it was also the play of Murugi Suzuki.
Oh, yeah.
That the episodes for that show were intentionally aired out of order, and you have to figure out what's going on in that show.
And that starts with a particularly odd one.
Yeah, that's really.
It really drops you in at the deep end.
But this one has like this whole travel sort of thing, I guess.
Every section of it seemed very slow-paced, kind of decompressed, I think they call it.
And yeah, it's.
All right,
So you-
fine. So I missed this week. I lose. I get the thumbs down. I
There's
get
no
the bad
shame in
suggestion.
that.
Yeah, I'd still recommend it just for the art. The art is gorgeous. I'm super jealous reading that.
Look, I don't need to be patronized by you, Matt. Just give it a thumbs
Okay.
down, and we'll move on.
Okay.
Alright, so Matt, you suggested an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah. I guess it's not even really in the spirit of the thing, but this is the first MST3K related suggestion, which in itself is a cultural touchstone. But this episode, I guess, mainly just has personal significance to me. I really feel like it shaped the way I look at comedy and TV, I guess. I watched this episode a lot as a child.
Would you say it was a good episode? I didn't feel like it was an extreme standout among Mystery Science Theater episodes.
It just reminded me that I don't really like Mystery Science Theater 3000 as much as
Really?
I want to. Like, I like the idea of the show, and individual parts of it I find hilarious, and there are parts that really crack me up, but I just find it so tedious to sit through a whole movie that I have zero interest in watching, and it's not enough.
Well, it isn't a whole movie. They do a little editing.
That's true.
Yeah, I guess I should apologize to Vincent because the end of this movie really is a sleeper. Like, literally, they put people to sleep by playing music. It's just not an experience.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before that, although I hadn't seen this episode before, I had seen the movie they were making fun of in it before.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more enjoyable with the robot commentary.
Yes, I think so. I, like the whole Sampo thing. Like, if you've seen it multiple times, they actually explain what the sample does at the beginning of the movie, but they're riffing over that part, so you can't hear it at all. And it comes up in the movie naturally. Like they pretend like they have no idea what it is. Talking over it.
I like when they come back and the Sampo's broken, and they have all
They
those
have that
scenes of
song.
they have all those scenes of celebration that go on forever, and they just continue making up songs and things
Failure.
about
We
failure.
failed to bring back the
Heroes.
Sampo. Sampo. We will die of starvation. Sampo.
Yeah, you can find without the Sampo before. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Like I think it is as well done as that idea can be done. I think I have tremendous respect for their abilities as
No, I
comedians and writers.
disagree. I think you could do a better job of making a movie based on the Kalevala.
Well, let me be clear, I guess, and I say it's as well done as it can be. I'm referring to the commentary that goes over the terrible movie.
Right.
But that's but it's still at the bottom. It's still just watching a movie that I have no interest in watching and is just so boring. Like there are bad movies that I think would be better suited to it, but the Mystery Science Theater 3000 movies are just so painful to watch.
That's the thing. Actually, the worst ones.
What's
You know,
that?
it becomes intentionally pick the worst ones. It's sort of like a badge of honor thing to have sat through some of these movies.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. And I know the premise of the show is that they're trying to torture them with the movies. I get it, but it doesn't make me want to watch these movies that are painfully boring to watch.
Vincent, have you tried repeating to yourself, "It's just a show. I should really just relax"?
I don't have any problem with the accepting the science fiction aspects of the show. That's what that's getting at.
Yeah.
Oh, right. What else was weird in that episode? Gypsy's one-woman show, was that in there?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
That's
was-
really turns out.
Yeah, that seemed to come out of nowhere.
It occurred to me watching that Gypsy doesn't really get all that much character development or screen time in the show.
Right.
She's not one of the robots who's actually in the theater watching the movies.
Right.
It's kind of interesting to have that sort of spotlight on her for that one segment.
Right.
She is a very important robot, though.
Yeah. Yeah, she runs the place, right?
Yeah, and she rescues Joel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He's in. She sends him back to Earth.
Oh, sorry, spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Our listeners know that SuggestCast is not a spoiler-free zone.
We forgot to say that when we were explaining what the show was.
Oh, wow, that's one of the most important things.
We explained a lot about the show. We forgot to say that.
Oh, man.
Any of the things that we discussed from these suggestions, we will spoil the endings.
Right.
Actually, often we don't bother because the endings aren't important. But it's a possibility. You should be aware of it.
All right. I guess conversation topics for this one. So vote or whatever. We do that now.
Oh, we need to vote on this episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
It's a question here. I thought it was an enjoyable enough episode to watch, but I'm not sure I would vote for it as something that is necessary for people to experience for a shared cultural whatever. I feel like I didn't actually get the insight into Matt's personal development of his humor that he was hoping he would take from it.
Yeah, good point. I didn't encounter anything in there that made me say like, "Oh, yeah, that's classic Matt right there." Or, yeah, oh, I see where Matt gets that from. I didn't see anything in that show that was anything like you. So maybe you're just a you're just kind of a pathetic imitation that's so far from the original that it can't even be recognized as even, a bastard offspring.
All right. That's not exactly where I was going with that.
All right. We'll talk about men's
Oh,
thing.
okay. Right. So my suggestion was it was another challenge type suggestion, like we've been doing in some recent weeks. It was to take an object that has sentimental value to you and no other value, and destroy it.
Did you follow your own suggestion this week?
I did. When I thought of what I should destroy for it, I didn't want to, but I figured I would need to. I mean, it looks bad if I suggest something like that, and then I'm the one who doesn't follow through.
Yeah, that does look.
Yeah, so what I destroyed for it, it's a card that I got from a close friend last Valentine's Day. It was a very touching one, handmade. Had a joke on the front, and then on the inside, it had very detailed personal things about our friendship. Very touching. I don't often save cards. I did save this one because it meant a lot to me. It was actually my first read. I kind of teared up a bit. Anyway, so here it is. It's these pieces.
Oh, no. So, did you get the release you were after?
Yeah, honestly, not really. I don't strongly regret it either, though.
That was...
Like, I feel like I don't actually need to have the card around. I remember getting it and all.
See, with something like that, though, with stuff written out on it, boy, that would have been a tough one for me to destroy. Like, I would have maybe, copied down the text into a Word file and then destroyed the physical card. And then I don't think I would have cared, which I guess is kind of cheating, but...
Yeah. Oh, one good thing that came out of it, when I found where I was keeping the card, there were a bunch of other cards underneath it, because I'd just been kind of storing them there. Like, if I get a card, I would think, oh, I've got a couple cards over there, I'll put this one in that pile. And those other ones aren't as meaningful, and it's occurring to me now I can just clear that out and do some cleaning there.
You're destroying history? Anyway, that's all you have to say.
In a few decades, my biographers are going to be upset about this.
Yeah, they're going to be so pissed. I'm already pissed.
What did you destroy, Matt?
I've been holding on to some wedding favors from close friends' wedding, and they're not divorced. So the items that I had destroyed didn't really hold any sentimental value to me, which is really not in the spirit of things. I basically just put them in the barbecue pit and set them on fire, and didn't even bother to check if they were completely destroyed. Oh, Barry's here.
Sounds possibly cathartic.
Well,
fire.
Yeah, I usually burn stuff. The other thing is that if you know me, if you're a personal friend of mine in the past few months, I've probably bemoaned to you about how I broke my favorite I always drink coffee out of, and I've been holding on to it because it wasn't totally broken. It was just chipped in a way that would be pleasant to drink out of, and it was still pretty fixable. I returned that to the earth by taking it to the garden and smashing it into tiny bits with a hammer. I got a lot of sparks out of it, which is interesting. But, we lost Lewis.
Yeah, well, sure we'll get him back later, or possibly next week.
Yeah. I guess it just felt kind of empty. I wasn't going to use them. I'm kind of attached to it. I'll have to replace it. I'm backed up to using a Star Trek, which just isn't cool.
Vincent, what did you destroy?
This February, the Synod took a road trip, and a lot of the traveling was well over the road trip parts were all done in my car, and someone, I think it was Matt, but I'm not totally sure. Someone left a paper coffee cup in the car, and
That wasn't
in
me.
the
It would have been either Matt or Ashley.
Gives me coffee.
I think it was Matt. Anyway, they left the cup in the front console, and so after the road trip, I dumped out the remaining coffee that was in it, but I left the cup in there, and so when I'd get into the car, oftentimes I'd see the cup, and it would make me think about the synod and the road trip and the fun times we had. And I planned on just leaving that in my car essentially forever, but I went ahead and threw it out. And I don't think I miss it or anything. It's not like I get in the car and feel a sense of longing for the cup. I've actually just essentially forgotten about it now that it's been destroyed. But I guess I don't any longer have those moments of remembrance, when I get in the car and it kind of make me smile.
Now Vincent will grow cold and emotionless.
So I think the suggestion was sick and unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, this didn't really lead much of anywhere. It's mostly we just end up feeling kind of empty inside.
I didn't get anything out of it. I guess I wouldn't kind of miss your goal is to feel empty. If that's what you want, then you should do this.
Man, this is a bad week for SuggestCast.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can do some better suggestions for next time. Anyone got some suggestions to give out?
I got a suggestion, and it's another dare essentially.
All
Although
right.
it's not really a dare, but it is a task. I want you to write an actual postal letter to somebody, like you mail it out with a stamp and everything, to a celebrity and to try to get the celebrity to contact you back.
Oh, I like
Like
that.
try to initiate correspondence with a celebrity. Now,
And
what do
now,
you mean
when
by
you say
celebrity?
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of up to you. I mean, if it's, like if you got a letter back from Oyvind Thorsby, I'd consider him a celebrity.
Mhm.
He's sort of celebrity-like. He's celebrity-like enough. It's someone
That's
who's
it.
a celebrity to you.
So internet celebrity counts.
Yes.
Good, since that's most of the celebrities I care about.
Yeah. That's that. Who else has got one?
Uh,
Uh,
I've
I
got
don't.
one. It's actually, you guys might have seen this already. Have either of you seen Wizard People, Dear Reader?
Yes.
Parts of
Many.
it.
Okay, maybe I don't have one then.
I've listened to just the audio. Listen to it in the car. It was great.
See, that's another thing that I get nothing out of, and everyone talks about it all the time, but it's like, I think you got to have some baseline tolerance for Harry Potter, whereas I watch it and I'm just like, I don't want to watch this Harry Potter bullshit.
Oh, but it's a completely new take on the characters.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it
it's
makes
not.
Harry is now like a raging, stable alcoholic.
I get it, but it's not. I still can't watch Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Alright.
I feel you.
We're from different generations.
Yeah, you can't handle transformative works like that, I get. You're from
Well, see, I
before
could
remix culture.
if he did it with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie or something. Like I could do that. What? Tell me you got something, Matt. What do you got for? Oh wait, Ben, are we gonna do that? Or are you gonna try something else, or you just
I'll
don't
see
have
if I
one
can
this
think
week?
of something else. Matt,
In the
what's your
time it takes Matt to
suggestion?
make.
Yeah.
Totally at all.
No.
My suggestion is for next week.
The suggestion is that the the listeners go back and watch all the old
Yeah.
SuggestCasts in a
I'm
row
not
in
doing
one
that.
sitting.
You know what you could
All right,
uh,
I've got a new suggestion now.
Okay.
It's a flash game called Cursor times 10. And I'm not sure how much I should tell you about the central conceit of the game, but basically I'm recommending it because it has a sort of twist on the gameplay that I think is interesting and worth referring to in general as an idea that could be incorporated into things.
Okay.
And I'll put a link to that in the episode summary thing.
Great.
yeah,
Well, this was a great show this week.
Like,
man.
come on,
Yes.
negative results are still results.
That came out sounding sarcastic, and I didn't even mean it to.
I don't.
You know, it didn't even occur to me that might not be sarcastic.
I mean, it wasn't sincere either, but I was just kind of saying it without regard for its truth or falsity.
Nice.
Well,
All right,
hmm.
so we've got those two suggestions.
Writing a letter, though, that could, maybe I should maybe I should say you have to write it out by hand too.
Oh yeah, so they can profile. Even
I
Why
like
don't we
that.
do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
old
write it
school.
out by hand.
Sent an envelope with a stamp and everything.
Yeah.
disgusting.
Could be
All
fun.
right.
All right,
I'll have to-
so until next time, we're SuggestCast.
Bye.
Yeah.